BJP expels Unnao Rape Case, accused Kuldeep Singh Sengar from the party. Party spokesperson GVL Narasimha Rao says there is no place for a person in the party who is facing such serious charges. Rajya Sabha discusses the National Medical Commission Bill. The bill seeks to create a National Medical Commission in place of a Medical Commission of India. Health Minister Dr. Harshvardhan calls it an anti-vested interest bill, which will be remembered as one of the greatest reforms in medical history of the country. In international news, the US Federal Reserve cuts interest rates for the first time since 2008 global recession. Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell cites concerns about the global economy and mute US inflation, leaving the door open to further cuts. And in sports, the inaugural ICC World Test Championship begins today with the first Ashes test between Australia and England starting at Edgbaston, Birmingham. Hello and welcome. You're watching DD News and DD India with me, Munman Bhattacharya. Let's get started with the top story. The Supreme Court adopted a stern stand on investigation in Unnao Rape Case today. The Supreme Court ordered transfer of trial in all 5 cases related to Unnao Rape incident from Uttar Pradesh to Delhi. The court said that the trial court judge in Delhi will hear the case on day-to-day basis and complete the trial within 45 days. The Supreme Court also directed the UP government to pay 25 lakh rupees as compensation to the victim. Besides, the Supreme Court is likely to pass its judgment tomorrow about the airlifting of Unnao rape survivor and a lawyer to Delhi for advanced medical treatment after consulting it with the family members of the victim. Earlier, Supreme Court questioned the Secretary General on delay in placing the letter before the CJI. To this, the Secretary General of the court told the court that on an average, the Supreme Court receives 5,800 letters a month, and the registry came to know that a letter was written by the Unnao case victim after media reports highlighted this fact. CJI said that the victim should be shifted to AIMS if she is in a condition to be moved from Lucknow Hospital.
4 केसेस जो है सीबीआई कोर्ट दिल्ली को ट्रांसफर करने के लिए एक आदेश दिया है। दूसरा जो है जो संडे जो हादसा हुआ वो भी सीबीआई को सौंप दिया गया, वो केस भी दिल्ली सीबीआई कोर्ट को ट्रांसफर कर दिया। दूसरा जो है जो विक्टिम है, विक्टिम फैमिली मेंबर्स है, उसको सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने आज सेंट्रल रिजर्व पुलिस फोर्स को डायरेक्शन दिया है, इसको जब तक केस खत्म नहीं होता, जब तक केस चलता है, वो प्रोटेक्शन देने के लिए कह दिया। तीसरा जो है जो विक्टिम एक्सपेंसेस जो है ये गरीब परिवार से है, उसका इंटरिम कंपनसेशन के तहत और 25 लाख जो है कल एक दिन में उसको सौंप देने के लिए, मदर को देने के लिए कह दिया है।
Meanwhile, the BJP has expelled its jailed Uttar Pradesh lawmaker Kuldeep Singh, who is accused of raping a minor girl from Unnao. The action came days after the girl was critically injured and 2 of her aunts died in an accident in Uttar Pradesh. The family alleged that the accident was an attempt to kill her.
भारतीय जनता पार्टी में ऐसा किसी व्यक्ति के लिए जगह नहीं है जिनके खिलाफ बहुत ही संगीन आरोप हैं। जो पीड़िता है उनकी सिक्योरिटी को लेकर सवाल उठते हैं, उन पर इस प्रकार का जो एक्सीडेंट जो हुआ है उसको लेकर कई प्रश्न उठते हैं, तो कोई बर्दाश्त करने की स्थिति में पार्टी नहीं है। तो जो भी गलत काम करते हैं उन सबको पार्टी से बाहर करेगी। ये पहली बार मैसेज नहीं दे रही है भारतीय जनता पार्टी। गलत बयानी पर भी प्रधानमंत्री जी ने किस प्रकार रिस्पॉन्ड किया तो देश ने देखा है।
Uttar Pradesh Women Commission Chief Vimla Batham today met the family members of the Unnao rape survivor in Lucknow's KG Medical College. Later, talking to reporters, Batham said that the UP government is providing all possible help to the Unnao rape survivor.
विक्टिम और लॉयर दोनों ही इस समय जो है वेंटिलेटर पर नहीं है, कल दोपहर से वेंटिलेटर पर नहीं है। पोजीशन हम ये नहीं कह सकते इम्प्रूवमेंट है, लेकिन डिटोरिएशन भी नहीं है। बिना वेंटिलेटर के अगर डिटोरिएशन नहीं है तो ये एक बहुत बड़ी अच्छा संकेत है। पूरी मदद के लिए तैयार है योगी सरकार, और जो भी इलाज जो दी बेस्ट इलाज होगा वो इलाज यहाँ होगा, और जो भी उसके लिए फायदेमंद होगा वो सारे काम योगी सरकार करेगी।
Union Health Minister Dr. Harshvardhan today moved the National Medical Commission Bill 2019 for consideration and passing in Rajya Sabha. The bill has already been passed by Lok Sabha. The bill seeks to repeal the Indian Medical Council Act 1956. It is aimed at providing a medical education that improves access to quality and affordable medical education. Moving the bill, the Health Minister termed the legislation as the biggest reform in the field of medical education.
This bill is aimed at rapid expansion of medical seats while maintaining quality of medical education and reducing the cost of medical education. The need is to spur investment in the medical education sector by simplifying procedures and focusing on outcomes instead. It is not in any way meant to inconvenience students, but to facilitate provision of better quality of education to more and more students at reasonable fees. The NMC bill seeks to put in place a new structure to tackle the challenges in medical education effectively.
Lok Sabha today passed the Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code Amendment Bill 2019. Finance and Corporate Affairs Minister Nirmala Sitharaman said that the amendments proposed in the bill aim to ensure timely admission and completion of corporate insolvency resolution process. The minister said that amendments to insolvency law are aimed at ensuring greater timeliness for resolution process, which has to be completed in 330 days, and changes are to be made in 7 sections of the law. Sitharaman said proposed amendments also respond to issues pertaining to financial creditors in the wake of a recent ruling with respect to financial and operational creditors.
The Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code actually has proved effective, and in the course of my answer I will certainly give figures to prove it. But then the spirit with which this code has come in, and also the way in which it has functioned, together with the types of solutions it is offering, and the expectation with which businesses are approaching for solutions through the Insolvency Code, will have to be put on record. And again, it is not the intent here that every such problematic issue related to companies are taken up only with liquidation as an agenda.
Let's go across live to Maharashtra, where senior BJP leader Nath Singh is speaking after flagging off the Mahajanadesh Yatra.
मन में तो यह पक्की थी कि महाराष्ट्र को सही दिशा कोई दे सकता है, यही मुख्यमंत्री देवेंद्र फडणवीस की ही बनकर दे सकते। और आपने 5 वर्षों के अंदर देखा, जिस समय 2014 विधानसभा का चुनाव होगा, देवेंद्र फडणवीस को नेता के रूप में हम लोगों ने जनता के सामने पेश नहीं किया। भारतीय जनता पार्टी उस समय चुनाव में नहीं थी, और भारतीय जनता पार्टी को आप सब ने जवाब किया। लेकिन उसके बाद जब देवेंद्र फडणवीस जी मुख्यमंत्री बने, भारतीय जनता पार्टी शिवसेना की युति की, तो आपने देखा हो 5 वर्षों के अंदर इस मुख्यमंत्री देवेंद्र फडणवीस के बहनों भाइयों आपका विश्वास जीतने में कामयाबी हासिल की है, यह बात मैं दावे के साथ है। और मैं आज आपको यकीन दिलाना चाहता हूं, जितना मैं देवेंद्र फडणवीस को जानता हूं, भरोसा रखना मेरे ऊपर, मैं आपको वचन देकर जा रहा हूं, 5 वर्षों के अंदर उन्होंने आपका विश्वास जीता है। आप 5 वर्ष से और अवसर दीजिए, आपका दिल जीतने में देवेंद्र फडणवीस पूरी तरह से कामयाब होंगे, क्योंकि इनकी कार्यशैली में अच्छी तरह परिचित। और इन्होंने जनसंवाद यात्रा, यह महाजनादेश यात्रा निकालने का फैसला इस ग्रामीण क्षेत्र से किया है। बहनों भाइयों, हमारी भारतीय जनता पार्टी का मानना है, उसका ध्येय वाक्य है, गांव, गरीब, किसान, झुग्गी झोपड़ी का इंसान, बेरोजगार नौजवान और महिलाओं का सम्मान, इसके लिए जो भी बनेगा वह भारतीय जनता पार्टी की सरकारें कर रही हैं और आगे भी करती रहेगी। इसी उद्देश्य को लेकर हम लोग काम कर रहे हैं। आपने जहां महाराष्ट्र में 2014 के चुनाव में जनादेश किया, आदेश दिया, लेकिन इस बार 303 लोकसभा सीटों पर भारतीय जनता पार्टी का परचम फहराकर आपने महाजनादेश दिया और आप निश्चित रूप से इस बात पर सहमत होंगे, भारत की तस्वीर और तस्वीर बदलने की कुव्वत यदि किसी के अंदर है तो हमारे प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र भाई मोदी के अंदर वह कुव्वत है। सबका साथ, सबका विकास, यह हम लेकर अपनी जिम्मेदारी को संभालने का काम हमारे प्रधानमंत्री इस समय कर रहे हैं। किसी के साथ कोई भेदभाव नहीं, सबका विकास जब तक नहीं होगा तब तक देश के विकास का स्वप्न भी हमारा साकार नहीं हो सकता। इस हकीकत को भी हमारे प्रधानमंत्री अच्छी तरह समझते हैं। क्या इस देश के गरीबों ने कभी इस बात की कल्पना की होगी कि हम भी बैंक के दरवाजे पर जाकर हम बैंक से अपना पैसा निकाल सकते हैं, अपना पैसा जमा कर सकते हैं। बैंकिंग सिस्टम के साथ हिंदुस्तान के गरीबों को, आम लोगों को जोड़ने का काम यदि किसी ने किया है तो आज के हमारे भारत के प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र भाई मोदी ने किया है। बहनों भाई,
You were listening to senior BJP leader Nath address a rally after flagging off the Mahajanadesh Yatra in Amravati in Maharashtra, where he thanked the people of Maharashtra for reposing faith in BJP over the last 5 years and also urged them to vote the BJP back into power in the upcoming assembly polls in the state. Let's move on now. Heavy rain slashed several parts of Gujarat as Vadodara came to a standstill due to waterlogging at many places. Ahmedabad too received heavy showers in the evening, bringing traffic to a standstill. River Vishwamitri that flows through Vadodara is just a couple of feet below the danger level.
Incessant torrential downpours since yesterday morning flooded major parts of Vadodara city of Gujarat. The rainfall brought much needed respite for people but caused waterlogging at several places. Waterlogging was also witnessed in Navrangpura areas of Ahmedabad due to heavy rainfall. People were either stranded in office or had to wait back home through flooded streets. Road traffic not only in the city but entire highway between Vadodara and Surat cities leading to Mumbai was majorly disrupted with traffic jams at several places. Teams of National Disaster Response Force and State Disaster Response Force are deployed in North and South Gujarat and Saurashtra region to relocate people to safer places who are residing in low-lying areas marooned in rainwaters. The state has also activated flood monitoring control rooms in all districts. All government, private and Vadodara Municipal Corporation run schools are closed for today. All courts including Taluka courts are also closed. As a result of heavy waterlogging in and around runway, Vadodara airport has been shut from 4:30 p.m. yesterday. The airport, however, is expected to resume functioning from 3 p.m. onwards today. Meanwhile, Chief Minister Vijay Rupani held high-level review meeting to review the situation in Vadodara. He also visited State Control Office in Gandhinagar to take stock of the situation. Further, Met Department has predicted widespread rainfall across the city till Sunday. Due to strong wind and rough weather along Gujarat, Maharashtra, Goa coast, fishermen have been advised not to venture into sea. Bureau Report, DD News.
The flood situation in Assam and Bihar has improved as water levels in the major rivers showed a receding trend. In Assam, water level of all the major rivers as well as its tributaries are showing a receding trend. Water level is also receding in Pobitora Wildlife Sanctuary and Kaziranga National Park. 5.18 lakh people remain affected across 12 districts even as the death toll figure remains unchanged. Meanwhile, the Met Department has predicted heavy to very heavy rainfall. It is saying that is likely to take place at isolated places across the state. In Bihar, 13 districts continue to remain under water, affecting 88.46 lakh people. The worst affected districts are Sitamarhi and Madhubani, which account for most casualties. Met Department has forecast light rainfall in the catchment areas of all the rivers. Number of rivers, however, flowing above the danger level has reduced to 4 from 5. In Maharashtra, heavy rains continued to pummel western Maharashtra through the day yesterday, affecting traffic in Kolhapur, Sangli and parts of Pune city. Incessant rain in the past 72 hours has resulted in 4 major dams in Pune district. Bihar lake that supplies water to Mumbai residents is overflowing. This is the 4th lake in the city to overflow. The Met Department has predicted heavy to very heavy rainfall at few places due to the entire week for Konkan and parts of South Madhya Maharashtra. In Chhattisgarh, State Disaster Response Force is undertaking rescue and relief work in the backdrop of incessant rainfall and floods in the area in the city of Jagdalpur. The bill to criminalize instant triple talaq has received President Nath Kovind's assent. The bill got Parliament's nod this week, with Rajya Sabha passing the legislation. Lok Sabha has passed the bill last week. With President's assent, the bill takes form of a law. According to the Gazette notification, the law has come into force with retrospective effect from 19 September 2018. The Act will replace an ordinance promulgated on 21st February this year to the same effect. The new law, the Muslim Women Protection of Rights and Marriage Act 2019, makes talaq biddat or any other similar form of talaq having the effect of instantaneous and irrevocable divorce pronounced by Muslim husband void and illegal. It makes it illegal to pronounce talaq 3 times in spoken, written or through SMS or WhatsApp or any other electronic chat in one sitting. External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar has said ASEAN is a region of great importance for India. Speaking at the ASEAN-India ministerial meet in Bangkok, Jaishankar said that India hopes to see a strong, unified and prosperous ASEAN playing a significant role in the emerging dynamic of the Indo-Pacific.
Engagement with ASEAN has been and will remain a critical element of India's Act East policy and strategy. Acting East is now also a means to implement our Indo-Pacific outlook. Indeed, that is its logical extrapolation. India seeks greater connectedness with the ASEAN region. We envision connectivity with the region in very broad terms, including physical, economic, political connectivity and close contact at the people-to-people level. The historic, cultural, economic and political ties that have existed between India and the ASEAN region are the stepping stones to achieve the vision of a more connected India and the ASEAN region and a closer partnership.
S. Jaishankar also said that India seeks greater connectedness with the ASEAN region.
Engagement with ASEAN has been and will remain a critical element of India's Act East policy and strategy. Acting East is now also a means to implement our Indo-Pacific outlook. Indeed, that is its logical extrapolation. India seeks greater connectedness with the ASEAN region. We envision connectivity with the region in very broad terms, including physical, economic, political connectivity and close contact at the people-to-people level. The historic, cultural, economic and political ties that have existed between India and the ASEAN region are the stepping stones to achieve the vision of a more connected India and the ASEAN region and a closer partnership.
Earlier, External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar met Foreign Affairs Minister of Thailand Don Pramud Vinay in Bangkok. Both the leaders exchanged pleasantries during the meeting. The External Affairs Minister also met Foreign Affairs Minister of New Zealand, Winston Peters, in Bangkok. The External Affairs Minister is on a visit to Thailand to attend ASEAN-India ministerial meeting, the 9th East Asia Summit, Foreign Ministers meeting, 26th ASEAN Regional Forum and 10th Mekong Ganga Cooperation ministerial meeting. The U.S. Federal Reserve has cut the interest rates for the first time since 2008, citing concerns about the global economy and muted U.S. inflation. It also signaled a readiness to lower borrowing costs further if needed. Financial markets had widely expected the quarter percentage point rate cut, which lowered the U.S. Central Bank's benchmark overnight lending rate to a target range of 2% to 2.25%. In a statement at the end of its latest two-day policy meeting, the Fed said it had decided to cut rates in light of the implications of global developments for the economic outlook as well as muted inflation pressures. The Fed said it will continue to monitor and vowed to act as appropriate to sustain the expansion. However, two officials on the policy-setting Federal Open Market Committee opposed the move to provide more stimulus to the economy and dissented in the vote. An Ebola epidemic in eastern DR Congo sharply widened on Wednesday, the eve of the first anniversary of the outbreak, with one death and another diagnosis reported, and the quarantining of 15 people in a previously unaffected province. A total of 1,803 lives have been lost in the second worst outbreak of Ebola on record, according to figures released on Wednesday. An Ebola response official said the third confirmed case was the one-year-old daughter of the second Goma patient, a father of 10 who had died at the same center earlier in the week. With that, we come to the close of this news bulletin. News and updates will continue on DD India and DD News.